Hi guys, Carmen here from Carmen's Bronco Shop. So today's video is going to be about removal of both door posts, both kick panels, and the installation of the new door posts, how they line up to the bottom of the windshield and the kick panels, and also a sort of a tutorial afterward that really kind of gives you the 4 steps on making sure that those openings are in the proper spot and that they stay square. Hopefully you really enjoy the video. Talk to you in a minute. So if the actual doorpost was intact, one edge of it would be right over here. So anyway, we've got this basically set up. Again, that's just screwed in place with self-tapping screws. And I'm going to leave those there for a while until this is all set up properly here and I can get a door in place. But right now, I got to rebuild this edge. If I'd have realized it was as bad as it was, I'd have probably bought the firewall too, but I didn't. And I'm on one side of Canada. Those guys are on the other side of California. So I got to rebuild this edge. Not a big deal. And then we'll put the kick plate in place. And then we'll put the floor in place. And then at some point during this, I'm actually going to put the new door post in place. Again, everything is just going to be screwed in place temporarily with self-tapping screws so that we can take them apart and adjust them if need be. Once the door is in place and we can make sure that it's fitting right, then we'll be good to go. So there we have it. Door post is gone, everything's being held up in place with the jack. And here's the old door post. There should be a prize for the worst door post in the history of Broncos. Look, the Bondo packed in there at one point over the last 40 years. Other sheet metal in here. There's even steel brackets that were welded in here. Anyway, here's my collection pile over here of parts. I'll take all that down to the metal guy sometime soon. There's the old brake pads and everything like that. Next one I take should show the door post in place and the kick panel on its way and things starting to shape up. So here we are again. I've gotten kind of through this stage. Floor is in place. That new panel's been welded in here. New kick panel. Door post. Once I've fixed the windshield cowl and the windshield, then I'll put a new piece of steel in here. The back is going to be taken off separately. I'll take the roof off first, of course. And the back is going to sit somewhere where I can just kind of use it for measurements. And the front is going to, it's not going to be attached to the back at all. It'll come off and sit in that separate spot while I'm doing a bunch of work to the frame, putting the lift kit on, suspension kit, new motor, all that good stuff. Anyway, it's coming along good. My next step here now is to move to the other side, replace that section of floor, replace that kick panel, put the new rock panel on over there. And once that's done, windshield and cowl are coming out. And of course the roof is coming off. I just didn't want to do that until I had the doors in place. And I've run into some interesting things. So the doorway is square. And I've actually hung the door in there and it's got a pretty decent equal clearance all the way around. But things don't always line up the same as they did with the original factory panels. Like for example, you've got 2 holes down there and they don't line up. And if they did, then that would make the kick panel back in this direction towards the seats by another 3/4 inch. It doesn't work. Right now it's flush with this edge here. It's flush right there. That's cool. The rocker panel is flush along this edge. Comes up here. It's not attached to this, not attached to this section anymore. Difficult trying to figure out how everything goes because it's not like a puzzle that where every piece fits exactly where it's supposed to. For example, right here, you kind of have to take pictures of where things were when you started and try to get them roughly where they were. A real dog's breakfast here. Okay, so there's the old doorpost, welded all along here. Again, why these guys didn't just, I don't know, put a new kick panel in. Look at this. I mean, we got this piece here. We got layers and layers of galvanized metal, other kinds of sheet metal, and the original kick plate is still sitting here on the inside, but of course it's all rusted to hell. Anyway, this is the mess we're trying to remove from here right now. It's a beauty. Everything's a beauty. Wow. Piece by piece, it'll come up. So here I am, editing this, and I'm realizing I'm kind of coming down pretty hard on these guys and the work they did, but let's face it, this truck's 40 years old. I'm the guy that's taken something that should have been tossed in the boneyard probably 10 or 15 years ago, but somebody left it in a barn. So my ideas and thoughts of this truck are entirely different than the people that owned it before. That was the type of situation. They owned it since it was new. So by the time it got to the point where I'm pointing out these the kick panels and so on and so forth, these kids were probably just saying, "Dad, let me spend $50 on this thing, and I can probably drive it for another 100 miles." So I guess I had to say something about that, because I realized I was being a little negative about the work, but it wasn't about somebody doing a job like I'm doing to it now. That was about kids like I would have been when I was 16 or 17 saying, yeah, I can fix that. Give me the welder, Dad. Let me do something, and we'll run that across the field for another weekend or for the summer, or maybe we go four-wheeling back in the woods or whatever. So anyway, on we go. So here we've got one section of the floor back in. I used the self-tapping screws everywhere to hold it in nice and tight. And as I take a screw out, I weld it. So it's not going anywhere. And right here is where the bracket is that holds the front fender to the inside or the bottom of that panel, or spot weld that in as well. This side was relatively easy to do because I was able to put that brace in place. The other side, we had nothing to go by because it was all just rotten. So basically what I had done was I had used a jack, and I had lifted up the firewall in the front, and I got it to the height that it needed and did some measuring and whatnot, and then put the doorpost in on the other side with that kick plate. But this one is pretty easy because it's all right there. This doorpost was brutal, but it was strong, at least. I mean, it looked like hell. But so here's where we are. We've replaced the rocker panels, in and out, doorposts, both sides. We've got kick plate installed on this side, kick plate on the other side. Windshield's ready to go. I don't know about my motor up there. It looks pretty rough, but it may just need a paint job. I had to cut the wire, and I hope that the new harness has a new wiring to go up into there. Otherwise, I'm going to have some work on my hands. But I haven't destroyed it entirely. I've kept it, and I've kept the piece that came across the top hooked into the motor. That's also there in the old harness. Anyway, things are coming along. Just about ready to try and clean all the blue paint in from the inside of the firewall, freshen all that up with the primer, and we should be good to go. Unfortunately, my place is a mess because I've only got so much room, but you do with what you can. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, nasty. Anyway, things are looking really good on this side as well. So we've got to replace, of course, the windshield, and we've got to replace the cowling here, but it's coming along good. Welds are nice, joints are good, everything is coming along really well. So here's a kind of a little tease, because now you can see exactly where the Bronco's at this stage, but I wanted to make sure that you're clear on this. So when you're installing your rocker panels and your door posts and everything like that, first step, make sure that your floor is in and it's sitting where it's supposed to go, like lined up with the body mounts and everything like that. Okay. Second, when you're installing these door posts, make sure that they're straight up and down. And you know where they got to go because I've been showing you videos and I've been focusing on this area right here. So they have to fasten onto the bottom of those brackets and the bottom of the windshield. Make sure that they're straight down. And then make sure that your height is proper from the bottom of the dash down to the floor. Okay, all that stuff's critical. Make sure that's level right across. And then you know the measurement between the doorpost here and the striker, okay? And make sure that stays square. Striker's got to be straight up and down. The rocker panel has got to be straight right across, and it will be. And this has got to be straight up and down. So if you follow those methods, you're going to be safe. So there you have it. The doorposts are installed. The kick plates on both sides are installed. Rocker panels are installed. I think I might have missed a video of installing the rocker panels, but yeah, they're not really a big deal. They fit up underneath, and they have to fit level with the floor. So everything is kind of self-explanatory with relation to those. Anyway, next show is going to be great. I'm afraid you might think that I'm losing my mind, but for those of you that know me, that's not much of a stretch. In any case, next show we're going to eliminate, or we're going to dismantle the cowling, the piece that holds the windshield in place. Got to take that off without ruining the firewall, put the whole thing back together again, finish that up, and then remove the box. And so, you know, we're kind of almost at the halfway point. Once you do that, then there's only a little bit more, and then the frame comes off, or sorry, the frame goes to the shop, gets sandblasted and epoxied, and we start putting things back together. And anyway, I really hope that everybody is enjoying things. I hope you liked the tutorial at the end of that video, because I think that if I had had that a few years ago when I did my first restoration, it would have been really helpful to me, but I didn't, and it worked out okay. But the more of them you do, the easier they get. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I hope that this video finds all of you in good health, and I wish you all the best. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please subscribe. Take care.